Hello, this is Lucas, and in this video we are going to be going over how we can use sockets to communicate between two applications or two classes. So we're going to need two classes. So the very first class that we're going to need is a server. So let's just do server, and we're going to tick the public static void main, and then we're going to do the exact same for another class, and we're going to do client. And we're also going to take this, and the way that it's going to work is we are going to have a client who is going to connect to a server, and then they're going to be able to communicate between each other. So I'm going to start by creating our client, or our server, sorry. So the first thing that we need is a server socket. So let's do server socket. We can just give a name like SS. I'm going to equal that to a new server socket, and now in here we have to specify a port that we're going to use. I'm just going to use, let's just do 1234, but we can have any port here. Okay, and then we just need to import this. Okay, and then we need to throw declaration like that, and that'll be fine. So yeah, so this is a port that our client will use in order to connect to the server. So whenever a client tries to connect to the server with that port, we're going to assign a socket to it, and we're going to accept it. So we're going to do socket S is equal to SS, this that we have put in here, so SS dot accept, like that. Then we just import that. So whenever a client tries to connect with this port, we're going to accept it and assign that socket to S. Okay, now there's a couple of things that we need to add in here. So the first thing is we need to add ourselves a data input stream. So data input stream, DIN, just so we can read in the input that we get from the client. Then we're going to do a new, then the same thing, data input stream, and then we're going to do .s, so for the socket, s dot get input stream. So this is just so we can get the message from the client. And let's just import that library or that class. Then we're gonna need one to output to the client. So that'd be data output stream. Then we just name this d out and equal to new data output stream, and then we'll have to add in a parameter of s dot get output stream. So this is so we can talk back to our client. Let's just import that class as well. Okay, and then we're just gonna need a buffer reader. So we're gonna do buffered reader br is equal to new buffered reader, and then we're gonna add in a new input stream, right? Input stream reader system dot in. This is so we can actually insert an input, right, to send back. So then we're gonna just need to import these, and there you go. Next, we're gonna have two strings. We're gonna have one that's gonna store our input and then one that's gonna store our output. So let's just do string. So the first string that we're gonna be using is, I guess, is the client message, all right? And then we'll just put no value in for now. And then we're gonna have the same thing as here. We're gonna have server message is equal to new, like that. Okay, so this is the message that we're going to get from the client, and this is the message that the server, this class, is going to send back to the client. Then we're going to create a while loop. Now, the reason why we need to make a while loop is whenever we run this class, this server class, we want we want our server to stay online until we tell it to disconnect. Alright, so that's why we're going to use a while loop. And what we're going to do is, the way that we're going to disable the connection between the client and the server is when the server or the client put in an input of stop, let's say. So whenever they type in stop, then that's when we're going to stop the connection. So we're going to do a while client message. We're going to do dot equals. So when it's not equal to stop, keep going. Right. So whenever a client puts in the message stop, we're gonna stop the connection, and we're gonna stop the while loop. Right. Now we're gonna do a not SDR. We're gonna do, see what we need to do. So we need to do, we're gonna do client message. Right. So we're gonna store the input that we get from the client in our string. So we're gonna do client message. I'm gonna equal this to. We're gonna do din. Right. This input string that we have here. Dot read, and then we can do dot read line, but I'm gonna do read UTF. Okay, so that's just gonna store that. Then I guess we can just print out whatever we get from the client. So we'll just do client says. And then we're gonna add in the client message. So we're just gonna print out whatever the client has set us. Then we need to again output so we can send back to the client. So what we're going to do is we're going to do server message. So we're going to store our message in the string, and we're going to equal this to br, this buffer reader, br dot read line. So we're going to be able to enter an input in our console from this, and we're just going to store it as our message. And then we need a way to send that to the client. So we're going to do the out from this data output stream. And we're going to do dot write UTF. And then, yeah, we have the server message already in here. So we're just going to write back to the client our string that we have inserted here. And then lastly, inside this while loop, we need to just do the out.flush so we can actually send the message. And then outside of the while loop, whenever the client tells the server that I need to stop, we're gonna exit out the while loop. But we need to somehow disable the connection between the server and the client. So all we need to do is we need to din dot close, s.close, and ss.close. So we're just gonna close the connection between the server and the client. That's all this does. So that's actually about it for the server side. I can actually start working now on the client. Okay, that's basically it for the server. Now we can work on the client. So we have this class here. Let me just clean this up. Right. So we need to start off with just creating a socket. Now we don't need to create a server socket. Alright, all we need to do is we need to create a socket. So let's do socket. We can name it anything. S is equal to new socket. Now in here we need to specify a couple of things. Alright, first I'm just going to import this. So there's two values that we need to put in here. The first one is the IP address, and then we need the port. So if you're running the server on the same device as your client, what we can do is we can do localhost, and then we can specify the port that we used. So you can see the server we use 1234. So we need to specify 1234. Alright, we just hover over this, just add the throw, and that's about it. Our client is going to use these two values to connect to this server. Now, let's say that this server is on some other device. Let's say it's on your second laptop or your second computer. And what you need to do is you'll need to get the IP address of the server and just insert it here. Or let's say if you want to test it out, even if it's on the same device, you can input or you can set the local host as your IP address. But if it's on the same device, you can just put as localhost. It's fine. So once we have that, we need to kind of do the same thing that we have done here. So because I'm lazy, I'm going to copy all of this and put it right in here. Easy as that. And then all we need to do now is we're gonna create a similar while loop to here. It's gonna be a bit different, but it's gonna be kind of the same. I will copy this though, because we will have a message for the client on the server, and then we're gonna have a while loop. So let's do while. I'm gonna do while the client message does not equal stop. We're gonna keep going. So equals, we're gonna have a message stop. Okay, and now we're gonna have, let's see, so the str, so we're gonna have a client message, right? Client message, and we're gonna make this read the input that we put in inside the console. That's gonna be started as a client message. Then we're gonna write that out. So we're gonna do the out dot. We're gonna do write. Do we have? Nope. So write UTF. Not the. No, we're gonna need a client message in here. Okay, and then we're gonna have to flush that so we can actually send that message. So the out dot flush, and then we're gonna actually get an input, or we're gonna get an input from the server message. All right, the server is gonna send us a message. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do server message. We're gonna store that message, all right, as dash ring. And we're gonna equal this to bin dot. Let's do read UTF. We have it here. So all this is gonna do is we're gonna store the message that we get from the server as our string, and then we can just print that out. And we can say something like the server says, and then we can just give an input of the server message, and then we, outside of the while loop, we just have to close the data output stream. So we go the out dot close, and then we have to close the socket that we created as well and close. So that is literally done. Now we have the server and the client. So let's test this out. So we have the server. Let's run the server. All right. So the server is online. And now if we go to the client, run the client. All right. So now these have connected. So in my eyes, we have to run the client first. You can see here. So this is the client. If you click this button, we'll go to the server console. So let's go to the client. Let's say something like hello. Now let's go back to the server, and you can see that the client says hello. So we can say something back. How are you? So this is the server saying how are you, and then if we go to the client, let's see, there you go. The client says, server says how are you, and then if you want to stop the connection, all you have to do is write stop, and we go back here. Client says stop, then we can just write stop, and then there you go. You can see it has been terminated. This app is no longer running, the server is no longer running, and the connection between them has stopped. So that's about it. That's how we can use sockets to communicate between two classes on the same device, and it can be on different devices. We just have to specify our IP address of the server here, and then the port that we have set. So we have set 1234, and this is 1234. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helped, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.